Portos. We've got a little sampling, a big sampling, I feel like. I got quite a good amount of recommendations about what to order. So let's just jump right into it. I had to get a cortadito because when in Rome. In South Florida, I love getting a cortadito at a Cuban bakery. So let's see how this is. We also got a cafecito con leche because you gotta try the coffee at a Cuban bakery. And I gotta say, first thoughts being here, it's very big.
It doesn't quite have the personality of a Cuban restaurant that I'm used to or that we're used to, you know? It sort of feels like the Cuban bakery section of a Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. And maybe that's why we've never tried coming to one before, but that's nice. A little too milky for my taste, but you could always remedy that by asking for an extra shot of espresso.
Cheers.
Cheers. That's nicer. I like that. Yum. As I said, we got a pretty large sampling of foods, some of the foods that they're known for, others that I just want to try because it's a Cuban place. And the first one of those is, of course, a cubano, a Cuban sandwich. You got ham, you got lechon, you've got Swiss cheese, pickle, mustard, and the Cuban bread. And I gotta say, this looks pretty legit. It also came with little platanitos, which I love. Yum. This is not bad. I gotta say, so far, Portos is exceeding my expectations. The bread, it's nice and toasty and buttery. The ham is good. The lechon is good. It's not dry. I would say I wouldn't mind a little more mustard and pickles, but it's good. Cheese is melty. I like it. Well, the pork isn't dry. It could be a little more seasoned.
I am curious, so I do want to try it. I think it's very good. It's solid. I don't know if it's anything to write home about. Not quite as flavorful as what I'm used to, but it's good. Gets the job done.
If you're craving a Cuban sandwich, this will scratch the itch.
This is a feta sandwich. Not really a whole lot to it. Vegetarian isn't really what you think of when you think of Cuban restaurants, so I was kind of curious to give it a shot.
It's feta cheese, tomatoes, basil, and it's on a French baguette.
Well, again, there's not a whole lot to it. The tomato is great. The feta is great. The dressing is really delicious. If you're looking for this kind of taste, I think it's a fine option.
Something on the lighter side, too.
Something on the lighter side, exactly.
Oh, the feta's actually really nice because it's like a caprese sandwich, but instead of mozzarella cheese, which is creamy but less flavorful, you've got that salty, briny bite of the feta. I like it. It's very refreshing. If you want something lighter but you still want a sandwich, that's a good option. Let's get into all these baked goods, which is what I really came here for. Ooh. This is a good one to start with because not only at Cuban bakeries, but at Latin American bakeries, period, pastel de carne is my go-to. I love a good meat pastry. This is pretty much going to determine if I would come back here or not. How good their pastel de carne is. Looks good so far. Okay, first thought, they should warm these up. And maybe my bad for not knowing that, and maybe I can request that, but like, who wants cold pastries? We'll ignore that. The flavor's good, the meat is seasoned well. It could be a little saltier, but it does have that kind of traditional Cuban taste. It's a good amount of meat. It could use a little more. We also got the spinach empanada for Ren to try. Looks good. Looks flaky.
Cheers.
Looks like it could use some more filling.
I feel like this is becoming a theme, but it's fine. The dough is really good, very buttery. Again, not really what I'm used to as far as Cuban bakeries. I think the theme is becoming like this is a fine restaurant on its own terms. Maybe not necessarily if you're craving the atmosphere you can get at a Cuban restaurant.
We also got a papa rellena. This was one of the top recommended items. So, gotta try the potato ball. It's nice and crispy. It does have a really nice consistency. Oh, it looks good and it smells good and it has the olives, which are very traditional. Okay, I can see why this was the #1 recommended item to try and why people love the potato balls because this papa rellena is good. So far, this is the best thing I've tried. It's really good.
If it's the best thing you've had so far, I think I need to try it.
It is.
Definitely has a lot more of that flavor that I am used to. Let's try the veggie one.
It's cheese and peppers.
Well, I think this is my favorite thing that I've had so far.
Yeah?
Really good. Nothing I've really ever had before at a Cuban place. Different and unusual, but also familiar at the same time.
Same consistency as the meat one.
Really good, right?
Ooh, it's got a nice spice to it too, and the cheesiness.
I think I like that more than the carne, actually.
I might like this more than the carne too. This is really flavorful.
My hope for today was that we'd find something that was good and characteristic of Cuban cuisine, but also something that's more exclusive to here that you can't necessarily get anywhere.
That's really good.
It may not necessarily excite you guys to know that potentially the greatest thing here is a vegetarian item, but it is very good. I liked it a lot.
That's the whole point of trying different things, is you get to kind of see the variety and maybe be surprised by something you weren't expecting. Let's try the ham croqueta now. I will say this actually looks a little better because it actually looks like there are chunks of ham in it. This is actually a little better than the traditional ham croquetas I'm used to. The breading is crispier and it does have a nice smokiness to it. Could be seasoned a little better as well, but they're good. Weirdly enough, in South Florida, one of my favorite places to get a chicken croqueta is Publix. They just do it so crispy and good. So let's see how these stack up. Already it's different. I've never seen this shape before. It's like a little diamond. Looks kind of like mashed potatoes. This is better than the ham one. The seasoning is better, but still not as good as the ones from Publix in South Florida. Also nice about this one, it does have chunks of actual chicken. Second baggie. This was the third most recommended item, which is their refugio, which is a pastel de guayaba and queso, guava and cheese pastry. I love these.
Cheers.
This is really good. It has a good amount of guava. It has a good amount of cheese. Pastry is really nice and flaky. It's got that nice kind of glaze over the top. I would get this again. If I want a guava cheese pastry, this is a good spot to get one.
We're now reunited.
Reunited and it feels so good.
Beat me to it.
Sorry. Apparently, the carrot cake here is a must try. I will admit, I'm not the biggest carrot cake person. I like it fine, but carrot cake isn't one of those things that excites me.
It does excite me. Carrot cake is probably my favorite, maybe my favorite dessert, period. So when I found out it was one of their best things, I was very much looking forward to it.
Looks good. Looks good.
Whatever we don't have, we might have with coffee tomorrow. Cheers. It is good.
Wow, that's a legit recommendation right there. This kind of tastes like my aunt's carrot cake, who, like, that's her specialty.
I think there's a little bit of pineapple in here. Mm-hmm. Very impressed. Mm-hmm. Similar to the vegetarian potato ball, this is something that I think is a little more unique to here.
I don't know that I would go, actually I do know. I would not go out of my way to come to Porto's for Cuban food. However, if I'm in the area, we're at the Glendale location, FYI, I would probably come here for like a coffee and maybe one of those papas rellenas. It scratches the itch if you need it, but this doesn't bring the South Florida Cuban bakery vibe.
I mean, they're trying with the music, you know, so it's
They do have good music playing.
They do,
I
they do,
will
definitely,
say that.
music's on point.
I don't think it's worth the hype. I will say the prices are great. You get plenty of food for what you're spending.
If you're walking by, driving by, yeah, it's a cool place to hang out for a little bit.
It's a solid spot. So, on to the next one.
Well, we were in the neighborhood, and guess what? We found a Porto's.
to Café Tropical, and plot twist, I saw in their hours that they're open till 10 p.m. However, I was not aware that their kitchen actually closes at 3 and they only have coffee and pastries. So we did get 2 pastries to try, and we are going to come back to do the kind of more full review. But just like yesterday at Porto's, we got a cortadito.
And the café con leche.
So cheers. So we were just talking about this before because we did take a sip of coffee just because it's pretty cold outside and everything's getting kind of cold. But kind of like at Porto's yesterday, this is good coffee. However, this does not give Cuban coffee. It gives more like a macchiato vibe.
So that's how I feel about this café con leche. It tastes like a nice coffee drink. The theme I'm encountering with this place and Porto's is that if you have an expectation of eating Cuban cuisine, you might be disappointed. But they're fine for what they are. They're fine on their own terms. But I kind of expected that at the same time because we're not in Miami, we're not in Cuba, you know? So you take it for what it is.
They did have a pastel de carne, which I was very looking forward to trying. And their vegetarian option is a pastel de zanahoria. So it's a carrot pastelito. I've never heard of this, but I'm intrigued. Let's start with the pastel de carne. Oh yeah. I can already smell it, and it smells delicious. Really good flaky crust too. Oh,
Way better?
this is so good. They have the sweetness. You can see the glaze, but you really taste it. The meat is seasoned so well, and it's got a nice little spice. This is so good. We might have to grab a couple of these to go. All right, carrot pastry.
Let's see what it's all about.
Oh, that looks kind of like shredded chicken.
Flavor's good, really good. Once again, the dough has a little extra sweetness to it. The carrot itself is delicious. Similar to Porto's the other day. Something unique, something that you don't typically get at a lot of Cuban bakeries that I've been to.
Definitely not traditional, but always appreciated. It actually smells like spiced meat. It's seasoned and spiced really nicely, and the texture is particularly nice. They cook it down enough that you're not getting any kind of raw carrot bite. It honestly tastes like shredded chicken, but with carrot in there. I like it. If you want the feel of a pastelito and you don't eat meat, this is good.
I think it's better than the spinach pastry at Porto's.
These were given to us warm without having to ask for that. So, just saying, that goes a long way. So, that's all we could try, but we are going to come back and see how it goes then. All right. Cheers. This is really good. Really refreshing. So we're back at Café Tropical after the first time having a little bit of an unsuccessful visit. Ordering food stops at 3. So this is our second go around so that we could try some of their food. The other thing we found out is that ownership changed 2 years ago. And so a lot of the things that you see, like on Google, for example, on the menu, they no longer have. So they no longer do croquetas. They don't have the medianoche, which is why we got the cubano, which I guess is a good side-by-side comparison since we did get the cubano at Porto's. They do not have the mamey shake either. So that was a little bit disappointing.
I was very sad about that.
Yeah, because the menu is pretty varied, we were gonna try their frijoles negros breakfast, which is kind of like a soft scramble with black beans and avocado, but they were out of that as well. So we made do as best we can. We got the pastelito de pollo. I did get a pastelito de carne because it's so good, but I already ate that one. And we got the Cuban sandwich to try. Cheers.
Cheers.
Really good flavor on the chicken. That's one thing I will say about Café Tropical. Their pastelitos are on point. They're seasoned so well. Also the pastry, beautifully flaky. Should we get into this
Shall we
cubano?
try? Let's do it.
You've got pork, you've got ham, cheese, pickles, mustard. Looks juicy and delicious. Okay. That's very good. One thing they do very well here is marinate the meat. The meat is juicy and tender, and it's really flavorful. This I can say without question is better than Porto's. Perfect amount of mustard. The pickles are just the right acidic touch. The bread is buttery and crisp. Okay, for how much work it took to get here to film this video,
Was it worth it?
it's worth it. This is really good. And it wasn't like that much work, but it just felt like a few hurdles, but definitely worth it. So if you live nearby, this is definitely a good spot to come to. I'd be interested in trying like some of their breakfast items. They're not Cuban, but they sound good. They have different sandwiches, burritos, a chilaquiles burrito, which sounds really good. What sounded the best to me though, and I guess they sold out of it for a reason, was the frijoles negros soft scramble. So maybe we'll come and try that another day. I think we're gonna go ahead and finish this guy, and then we will see you at Gigi's.
Very excited.
I am so excited. Gigi's was the very first Cuban place we came to when we first moved to LA. And immediately when we walked in the door, we were like, this feels like South Florida. This feels like Miami. I've never had their plates here. Ren has. We got a whole feast here. So excited. Vaca frita is one of my favorite dishes. Everything just looks and smells incredible. We're gonna try the papa rellena. Crispy and delicious. Let's see. Cheers. Oh wow. This is fried to perfection. You can see that's like the meat is saucy and juicy. It's not dry at all. The potatoes perfect texture. I could use a touch more seasoning. Like just a little.
Yeah, I'd say that's a common critique when places we go from you.
I'm a salty girl. Alright, let's get into this coffee.
It's hot.
Oh, that's scalding. That's the way I like it. Oh yeah. Oh, that's good.
Greetings from in the shadows here. Great texture, great flavor. See, for me, that's just right. I know what you mean about the seasoning, but it's actually more to my preference. Porto's was very good, but that's on a different level.
I'm gonna get right into this vaca frita. They're sauteed peppers, onions, congri, which is like a black bean, white rice mixture, and then plátanos maduros, which I love. And they remind me of my grandma, because they were her favorite. Look at that. Delicious fried meat. Wow, that is delicious. Vaca frita is one of my favorite dishes. I don't know that it's for everyone because it can come off a little chewy, not in a bad way. It's just, like fried shredded beef. I like that texture. And the flavor too is just phenomenal. It's salty, it's garlicky. Let's try this rice and beans. Cuban congri. You can't go wrong. And I've been craving plátanos maduros for a while, so very happy about this too. This tastes like home. You're gonna find that I say that for many things, because when I eat Colombian food, that tastes like home in a different way. But while I'm not Cuban, growing up in South Florida, this tastes like home.
Wow. I don't know, you guys. Gigi's is firing on all cylinders. Seasoned beautifully.
I tried the plantain chips already. These are superior plantain chips. They're perfectly crispy and they have a nice thickness and bite to them. That is so garlicky and good. We got our medianoche. In case you're not familiar, a medianoche is a Cuban sandwich, but on sweet bread. You got your ham, pork, you got your Swiss cheese, mustard, pickles. Cheers. This is fantastic. For me personally, I could use a little more mustard. Again, just because I'm a mustard girly. But man, the ham, the pork, they're juicy. Cheese is melty. The bread is toasty and sweet. That sweet and savory combination is just perfect.
See, to me, that is exactly how it should taste. I'm having a moment here. Tastes just like home. Meanwhile, this coffee gets better with every sip.
Is that a damn fine cup? Let's try the strawberry hibiscus mint tea. I love it. Hibiscus is my favorite in any iteration. Let's try their pastelito de carne. Ooh, it's warm. Cheers. You know, I'm really happy that this is so good because the last time I came here, the pastries were not great. They were cold, they were dry. I was really bummed out. And I thought maybe this is just like a one-off thing, you know? You gotta give places some grace. Sometimes they just have an off moment and it doesn't mean they're bad. That was just the one time. This is really good. Flaky, it's got the sweetness, the meat is seasoned really well. And now we're gonna do the guava y queso. Growing up, this was always my favorite pastry too. And we're gonna do a little, there we go.
Yeah?
Perfect flaky pastry, but also soft. Perfect amount of guava. It's not overly sweet. Cheese kind of cuts the sweetness some. This is perfect.
That's just everything I want and more.
We're gonna finish this feast, and then we'll go over some final thoughts with all the places.
For me, it's not even close. Like Gigi's is the best. I mean, the other spots are cool. You're gonna have great food, but if you want legit Cuban cuisine, I think there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. This is the spot to come.
Absolutely. Like Ren said, that's not to knock Porto's or Café Tropical. If you happen to be in the area where they are and you want Cuban food, absolutely go there. But one thing we were saying too, given also the proximity of where Gigi's is located compared to Café Tropical, if you're leaving your house to drive, you might as well just make it Gigi's. If you happen to be in the Silver Lake area, absolutely go to Café Tropical. Their Cuban sandwich is really good. Their pastelitos are on point. And then same thing with Porto's. If you happen to be in Glendale at the Americana, or if you happen to be near any one of their number of locations, go to Porto's. And actually, we do want to go back to Porto's to try their mame shake because
Oh yeah.
nowhere else had the shake but at Porto's. If you do find yourself in Miami and like deep South Miami, I mean like Homestead, Redlands area, you need to go to a spot called Robert Was Here.
Oh yeah.
It's like a farmer's market with shakes, famous shakes. And we have been there and we got their mame shake. And I think that was like one of the best ones I've ever had.
It's as you're getting right into the Everglades there.
I will say an honorable mention, because it's no longer around, was a little spot called El Cochinito, also in Silver Lake. And we did go there once years ago and it was delicious.
I think Café Tropical is a good spot to go to if you are in Silver Lake and you're on foot in particular. Because if you're driving and you're in Silver Lake, I don't know, I just feel like you might as well come here because it's only another 5 minutes further. Parking was actually easiest here out of the three.
Yeah, I think my favorite part about coming to Gigi's is the second you walk through the door, it just feels like you're transported to South Florida. I did grow up there, so it feels like home. They speak Spanish, which is always a treat.
The music was on point too.
Of the three places, coffee was best here. I think as far as the papa rellena, Porto's might have a slight edge, that vegetarian one. It was so good. This one, the texture and the flavor was fantastic, but I do think Porto's might have been a little bit better.
I will say, I think it did have the biggest menu out of all
Oh,
of them.
of course. If that's the vibe you're looking for, go to Porto's. Of the three places, even though it's very traditional here, and I love it, the pastel de carne, I think my favorite of the three was at Café Tropical, just all around. So tell us what you guys think between Gigi's, Porto's, Café Tropical. What is your favorite? Have you ever been to any of these places? What's your favorite dish to order at a Cuban restaurant? And also, what should we try next?
We always appreciate the input, so let us know in the comments.
Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel so that you stay up to date with our adventures.
See you guys next time.
Bye.
We didn't say like and subscribe.
Are we gonna be able to get out?
No.
Okay. You know, like and subscribe.